By 2007, Jill Scott had already established herself as one of the defining voices of neo-soul. Her music had become known for poetry, warmth, emotional honesty, storytelling, and soulfulness. But The Real Thing, Words and Sounds, Volume 3, Jill Scott entered a new chapter creatively and emotionally. The album felt bolder, more confident, more expensive, and in many ways more emotionally layered. Released in 2007, The Real Thing debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200 and later became certified gold in the United States. But beyond the charts and the sales, the album represented artistry, growth, and emotional involvement. And let's just say as well, this album sold over 500,000 copies worldwide. What made Jill Scott stand out throughout the neo-soul movement was her ability to create music that felt deeply human and emotionally honest. And on The Real Thing, that honesty remained at the center of the experience. However, this era also introduced a stronger emotional confidence within her music. Songs throughout the album explored vulnerability, resilience, love, criticism, self-awareness, joy, emotional strength in ways that felt mature and grounded. One of the standout songs from the album was Hate on Me. This record became memorable because of the boldness and confidence. Instead of shrinking under criticism or negativity, Jill Scott leaned directly into self-assurance and emotional resilience. The song carried humor, personality, honesty, and strength while still maintaining the soulful energy that defined her artistry. It showed another side of Jill Scott, the audience that had not fully seen before. Another thing that makes The Real Thing stands out is the atmosphere of the album itself. The production feels warm, live, soulful, and emotionally in tuned. The instruments allowed the music to breathe naturally, while Jill Scott's storytelling remains the emotional center of experiences. Listening to the album feels less like consuming commercial music, more like sitting inside of real emotions, conversations, and reflection unfolding through soul music. Throughout the album, Jill Scott continued balancing vulnerability with confidence in a way that felt authentic. She allowed softness and strength to exist together naturally within her music. That emotional balance became one of the reasons listeners connected so deeply to her artistry during the neo-soul era. At a time when much of mainstream music was becoming increasingly commercialized and trend-driven, Jill Scott remained rooted in self-awareness, musicianship, poetry, and emotional truth. And by her staying true to herself and roots, helped her music age beautifully over time. More than 15 years later, The Real Thing still emotionally is rich, soulful, and deeply human because it never relied heavily on trends. It relied on honesty, storytelling, warmth, and emotional connection. The album represented an artist continuing to evolve while remaining true to herself creatively.